Hey guys, in this video I will do something I've never done before. I will show you every single piece of musical equipment that I have, different amps and guitars and whatever. So let's see what happens. All right, so this is my green Brian May guitar that I got around 2014. There are plenty of videos where I show you some of the advantages, disadvantages of this instrument, and lately I've been using it a lot. And yeah, it's kind of cool. Next is this weird horn thing that my friend sent me from Asia. I don't remember which country it was, but it was wrapped in newspaper and it was all dented, but it plays. Let me show you what it sounds like. All right, so here it is. It folds like a telescope, and you can play some sort of like bugle type of stuff on it. I don't even know the name of it. It's gonna sound like crap, but bear with me. There you go. Next, we have this fine specimen called Marsha. It's a solid-state Marshall amp where the reverb is currently broken. It's got a clean channel, a dirty channel, and has a CD in, actually. And this wonderful crate cabinet. I got it from my friend in college, traded in my PV amp for this thing. It's not a state-of-the-art kind of a amp, but it's nice and clean, and I sort of like it. I use it as a PA for my drums. Oh, speaking of drums, we have drums, which you have heard probably. It's a Roland kind of beginner kind of drum kit. I have this because I have a cat, and this is very tempting for the cat to use as a scratching post. All right, next we have this amplifier that was made by Fender. It's called the Vaporizer, and I also have this old t-shirt here to cover this grill. Otherwise my cat Shawanda would have destroyed it by now. It's 13 watts. It's got a very interesting sound. It's not exactly clean. It's very simple. It only has volume, tone, and reverb. But it's a tube amp, and I love the way it records, and it's perfect for the sort of bedroom kind of guitar noodling. All right, next I have the Smart Bass amplifier. This is actually the cabinet. It's 500 watts of bass power, and here is my Mark bass amplifier. There it is, 500 watts, solid state, amazing, so small, so powerful, so reliable. This is the shit. I remember I spent my bonus when I bought this thing and that thing, and this is also, by the way, if you notice, it's covered like this because the cat would have destroyed it by now. Next is this Tromba plastic trumpet. It's a fun toy, but it's actually a legitimate trumpet. This beauty is my Nord Electro 2. It has a great Hammond organ sound, as well as all the various electromechanical instruments like the clavinet, etc., Wurlitzer. And it does not have any bells and whistles like the recent Nord Electros have. And I also love the presets. You can be in a specific bank and you can quickly switch between your sounds. 61 keys. I got it in 2006, and it's reliable, built like a tank, awesome. Next we have this plastic trombone. It's plastic and graphite, and I use a real metal mouthpiece, and it records very well when you need to do trombone. I have this old trombone. It's made in the 1940s. It's a student type of instrument, but it's a real metal trombone, and I got this thing when I was 20. Look what's under my bed. It's my violin. It's my violin that I got when I was 10 or 11. I don't remember exactly, but here it is. It now sports octave strings. Whoops. If you haven't seen my video where I demo this thing with these strings, it's actually a lot of fun. So here's my student violin, a German factory made violin that cost about $200. It's indestructible. Here are my two good bows. This bow cost me $1,000 when I was 18, but this bow had a defect here and the head broke off, and I got it fixed several times. It was actually funny. I was in this community orchestra, and it turns out that several people had the same exact bow. Well, not the same exact bow, but a violist and a cellist had a bow made by this guy named Loser, and all of them broke in the same exact place. Maybe there's some kind of a class action lawsuit that's needed for this. But anyway, it feels incredible, but it's a piece of crap because it broke and it's worthless. So this bow is a Chinese bow that is very reliable. It's kind of light, much lighter than this one. And also, if you notice, the hair on the bow is not white or black, it's dyed. And this guy, Gregory Wiley, actually dyes horsehair in these different colors, and I like the way they feel. They actually feel different. They bite into the string more, and they actually last longer. So this was my main guitar for about 10 years. It's a Gibson Les Paul Classic. I got it in 2001, and I put a Stetz bar on it. It's a whammy system that is not invasive. So basically you take off the tunematic bridge, take off the tailpiece, and you put it in. And I removed the arm because I'm keeping it in the case. I put on the mirror pick guard. It's autographed by Les Paul himself, and Mr. Les Paul actually played this guitar, so it's awesome. It's currently retired. It's great. It works great. It sounds amazing, but you know, tastes change, and right now I'm more into single coils. Next we have my good violin. It's a 1960 violin. That was a very strange instrument. It had not been played prior to me buying it, and the neck was shaped like a viola. So when I bought it, I asked the guy who I bought it from to shave it down so it's shaped like a regular violin. It's nice and clear. The wood quality is kind of questionable, but it is my main violin, and it's been with me since I was 18. I also have this graphite bow, which I highly recommend for all of your questionable gigs, like weddings at the beach, etc. Costs $45. This is my de-armand Bass guitar was my very first bass guitar. I got it when I was 19 to record songs on my computer. Currently it features the low beat tuning, but it's a reliable machine. I actually made money playing this thing, playing it in the pep band. And the neck is kind of warped, but otherwise it's awesome. It's my very first bass guitar, and these stickers are from a radio station. Next we have Schecter Hellcat, which is a 6-string bass. It's tuned like a guitar but an octave lower. I have several videos where I explain how it works. I got it as a toy and I never really used it in the live situations. Still, it's a rare instrument and pretty awesome. Next we have this Novation bass station, which is an all analog synthesizer with digital presets. I used it when I played keyboard bass and also just made some noises with it and used it in MD Soul. Actually, I was not the one playing it, but I programmed it for various things. For example, we played Rio by Duran Duran and I programmed like an arpeggiator patch. It's great. It's a shame I don't use it, but otherwise it's a solid machine. So as with most things, I got this synthesizer when I was drunk. I went to a bar, I went on eBay and I bought it for a steal of a price. This is my Bach Stradivarius trumpet, my very first trumpet that I bought when I was 19. I couldn't even play the instrument and I just went into the store and went and bought it. It's great. It's a professional trumpet, very reliable, and I recorded with this instrument. I've performed with this instrument many times. Sounds awesome. This pedal board you guys have seen already in some videos. It's a bunch of pedals. Let's see. Morley, Bad Horsey, Electro Harmonics Freeze, Boss Looper, Boss DS1, Zoom, forget the name. I forget the name of the Shure wireless receiver. Some no-name volume cut, power supply, secondary pedal for the looper. That's my pedal board. Also, I just realized that I have one amp in the studio. It's my PV Classic 30 amp. I have another video somewhere where I show how it works. And I also have a Roland Microcube in my trunk, which I did not feel like getting. It's a nice small practice amp, and it's always with me. So this is my latest instrument. I got it almost 2 years ago. Guess what? I was drunk and I ordered this $129 flute. I've yet to record with it, and I'm not great on it. Just kind of fooling around. Alright, so this is a Gator case. I have another one just like it. I got it when I had to go on tour, and it's a great flight case. Protects your instrument very well, except that my guitar is much smaller than this case, so I had to put some clothes to kind of dampen it. Let's see what's inside. I have my, I don't know, cables, my wah-wah pedal, my Boss MS3 processor, and distortion pedal DS1. And I have all of this stuff basically, well, not the MS3, but everything else that gets my sound on my pedal board, which you've seen. But this is purely for this band that I went on tour with, and I'm just keeping it in this case. My Stratocaster guitar that I call the Swiss Army Strat. It started out as a Mexican Roadhouse Stratocaster with Steve Ray Vaughan Texas Special pickups. I changed several things. I put on
tremolo arm, a shortened one, and I installed all of these switches so I can combine these 3 pickups in series, in parallel, in series and in parallel, in phase, out of phase. I also put on these Graph Tech saddles. So this is a highly versatile guitar, great for studio work. And this is called a hosophone. I made it over 10 years ago, just a piece of hose, mouthpieces, and a funnel. And you can play Baroque concertos on it. Sounds nice and angelic. A little 30-watt amp PA thingy, and I use it when I jam with people at my house. It has very simple low, high, volume, very few effects like reverb, chorus. You can plug in your microphones and stuff in here. It's pretty good. I have this piano. It's not even gonna take it out. It's a Univox late 70s piano, and it has harpsichord sounds, piano sounds. It kind of sounds like crap, but it's still a piece of history, I guess. You know, it doesn't have that vintagey sound. It's just a piece of gear. This is my Chinese Hofner bass. I got it for about $300 several years ago. It's very light, sounds great, records very well. I played several gigs with it and used it on several recording sessions. This is my main bass guitar. It's a Korean jazz bass with active electronics. It's got 2 single coil pickups. It's got a preamp that I replaced with an Aguilar preamp after the original preamp blew. Takes a battery. It is very versatile. You can dial in literally any sound from the modern to vintage. And also, if you notice, I have green strings on it, and as far as I know, I was one of the very first people to use these glow-in-the-dark neon strings. This is for decoration, and this is also for decoration. And all this other crap is for decoration. Also notice these green strings. I got them for looks, but they also sound very good. And as far as I know, I was one of the first people to start using these neon strings. It used to have a Fender preamp. There's a battery here, and it blew one day during a rehearsal unexpectedly, and I got it replaced with an Aguilar preamp. This does some weird mids contouring, which I don't fully understand, but it's, like I said, very versatile. This is my main stage guitar. It's a Brian May replica by Corrado Carpentieri. Stays in tune very well. It's got the awesome roller bridge, great pickups, and it just feels amazing. I had to make some tweaks to it. I had to file down some frets. Came wired wrong, but if you're curious, I have another video where I go in detail how it works, what are some advantages, disadvantages, but this thing is just a solid machine. Very light, my main guitar. Irish tin whistle. Can't believe that's it. Last instrument, it's a zaffoon. It's a clarinet saxophone thing, which I don't currently know how to play properly, but it sounds something like this. Well, that's it. Thank you for watching.